Yeah, obviously they started it. Yeah. I hope they're going to save lives at some point. Hello and welcome to your guide to apprenticeships by not going to uni. My name is Harry and tonight is all about apprenticeships and how you can find your next opportunity today. You join me in the Not Going to Uni Diner where we were speaking to our guests earlier. Apprenticeships are a vital part of education, providing you with an opportunity to earn and learn at the same time. Some apprenticeships go up to the degree level and some can even get you an actual degree. Tonight we're going to be speaking to 3 different organisations about their apprenticeship offerings right here in the NGTU Diner. Let's take a look at what's to come. We've got Bentley Motors, ICAEW and the Metropolitan Police. Well, that's 3 great opportunities that you can work with to apply with right now. There's loads more through the Not Going to Uni website and it has hundreds of opportunities waiting for you to apply right now. Let's jump into our first session in the diner. The other day, Noor was joined in the studio by the people at Bentley Motors, where they discussed their apprenticeship pathways. Let's take a look and see what they got up to.
Hello and welcome to your guide to apprenticeships brought to you by Not Going to Uni. And welcome as well to the NGTU Diner. This is where we'll be interviewing our guests about careers and apprenticeships and getting to know a little bit more about what you can be doing to find yourself that apprenticeship. For our very first session, we are joined by Ash from Bentley. But before the diner serves up any snacks, please tell me a little bit more about yourself and what you do.
Absolutely. So hi everyone, my name's Ash or Ashley. I'm from Bentley Motors based in Crewe. I'm the early careers manager, which means that my role and my team's role is to support any sort of apprentice, graduate or intern in the business. So making sure that they have a successful and healthy journey whilst they're with us on their apprenticeship programme.
Lovely. Right, so before we dive into anything, I know that we've got some lovely snacks on the kosh, so I'm going to do like a very fun reveal. It's cupcakes. Love it. Great way to start. So please take your snack. I'm going to hand you a little napkin there.
So I'll class this as my cheat day, shall I?
Yeah, today is your cheat day.
Cheat day.
My cheat day. Always a cheat day for me. Right, this is going to be very fun to eat whilst we have our little chat, but that's okay. Put this way to the side. Lovely. Right, So to get started, can you tell me a little bit about what apprenticeships Bentley offer?
Yes, so we have a range from level 2 through to level 6. We have some in the R&D department, which is research and development. We have some in the manufacturing department, so a lot of engineering technicians will be in that sort of area. We have some in the supply chain space as well, so we've got around 26 that we're going to market for this year, a broad range, but they'll all be on our careers website. Right now, actually, they're live, so for any more information, just have a look at the links online, and that should give enough detail around what positions we've got available.
And how long will those opportunities be live for?
So the window they go live for is on the 10th of February for 11 days, so until the 21st.
Okay.
So get your applications in while they're live now.
Yeah, definitely. If you're interested in that sort of thing, definitely apply very soon. And what sorts of locations can you find these apprenticeships in?
Yeah, so our headquarters are based out of Crewe, which is in Cheshire, and that's where all of our apprenticeships will be based. So a lot of relocation happens year in, year out, where we have people relocate up to Crewe, particularly for their apprenticeships. That said, there's lots of international opportunities. There's opportunities to travel across the country whilst they're on apprenticeship. So whilst they're based out of Crewe, there is a lot of travel and international opportunities involved.
And what would you say are the best things about doing an apprenticeship with Bentley?
I'd say first and foremost, the fact that we are Bentley is a big driver behind that question. So we have lots of interest every year because we are such an amazing organisation. We've just been ranked as a top employer in the country. So I think the fact that we're such a great organisation is a big sell in itself. And then moving a bit further down, so you've got a great opportunity to learn from the best of the best. So what we have is lots of great expertise in the organisation. We've got people who are incredibly bright, incredibly intelligent, and know exactly what they're doing. So they're the best people to teach our new generation and future talent coming in. Also, I guess the product itself, we have some amazing cars, gorgeous crafted vehicles, and being a part of the delivery of that product is really exciting. So I think that's another great reason to be a part of the Bentley Apprenticeship Scheme. I think another reason is there's a committee, so there's a community. Our peer group, our peer system means that a lot of our apprentices can benefit from having other peers that they can be supported with, they can have day-to-day interactions with. They know that there's development there, and everyone kind of generates that belonging at Bentley feeling. So there's a handful of reasons, but I think the fact that we're Bentley is another great reason to be a part of our apprenticeship scheme.
Definitely. I mean, who doesn't want to work with like really gorgeous fast cars? I mean, I'd love to. But obviously, we talk about the cars. Are there any cool, quote unquote, things that you know that you can do with your apprenticeship? Anything that someone might find to be quite interesting? Yeah.
So we have a social committee, which is, I guess, a bit separate to the technical side of the work. So we've got things like summer barbecues. We've got an on-site facility, gym facility. We've got a Costa. There's a great social committee that organise out of work events as well, so there's that sort of thing. There's also a go-karting society, so for those of you who like to put your foot down, it's a great opportunity to be a part of a more social and fun and engaging community as well. So there's some really great opportunities besides the technical thing. There's corporate social responsibility initiatives, so that's, I guess, an opportunity to give back to our community. So we have lots of fundraisers and charity events that we really encourage our apprentices to get involved in, and they really enjoy doing it as well. And then outreach opportunities too. So that's, I guess, any engagement that we have with schools, colleges, universities. We tend to take our apprentices and wider early careers population with us, just to help build more of an employer brand across that student population. And it's nice for students to relate to students or apprentices. So that's a great opportunity to be involved in as well.
Definitely. Are there any particular standout events that you're like, well, I wish I could go to those?
Yeah, absolutely. So our flagship event is called Formula Student. I'm not sure if you've heard of it.
No.
It's essentially a massive event where universities across the world will come to, last year it was at Silverstone, which is a racetrack down south, and they build their own race cars and they race them on a track, and we take a lot of apprentices, graduates, interns with us to support with that event, and it's such a great day out, and you get to see all these amazing brands like Ferrari, Bentley of course, and Aston Martin, so some of the big players tend to come around as well. So it's a really cool event, and it's our flagship outreach event, and I think that's one that really excites our early careers population. So that's a good one to call out.
I'd love to do that. Can I be an apprentice?
Absolutely.
I just want to build fast cars and drive them. You haven't touched your cupcake. You have to tell me what it tastes like.
I need to get into it.
Do
I
you
think
do a little
They said, what is this? White chocolate and red velvet by the
Oh,
looks.
that sounds nice. I've got a Ferrero Rocher, which I'm saving to the very end.
I can't gracefully eat this on a...
Do you know what? I think a cupcake
Just
is...
go for it.
You just go for it. Yeah, there's napkins, so
Got you.
that's what you need. So we've mentioned, obviously, the very cool being able to go-karting and doing the Formula experience. Do you actually get any opportunity to drive the cars themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So we have what's called a Bentley driving license, which means if there's a business purpose for someone to drive a car, they need to get their product, their license, and they can drive the product. So definitely opportunities to do that, and a handful of our apprentices have done that as well. So yeah, really exciting, especially when we consider their beautiful cars worth six figures and you know, gorgeous technology and absolutely beautiful to look at. So it's a really nice I think a nice feature to have as part of that apprenticeship program. But I think alongside being able to drive them, there's also the opportunity to be involved in the design, the marketing, looking at innovative technologies. There's lots of opportunities specifically focused on the car, and I think that's why the apprenticeship program here is just so special. So yeah, great opportunities to really interact directly and indirectly with the car.
I can imagine. Have you driven any?
I have. I was actually supposed to be driving one today, but
It's not here.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I should have drove one down here,
I
shouldn't
know, you really should have. Came all this way.
But yeah, I've driven a handful in my time, and you know, there's a few events that we tend to take them down. So when we go to schools and colleges, we'll take a product, whether it's a Continental GT or a Bentayga, we'll take one and really showcase it to our students. And that's where you really see their eyes light up and they think, wow, I'd love to be a part of that. And, you know, who can blame them? As I say, they're such beautiful vehicles and, yeah, stunning to look at. So it's nice to be a part of that journey some way, shape or form.
Yeah. Do you have a particular favourite?
The Continental GT, it was recent. The newest edition was launched in my second week in the business. So I got to see this big unveil and absolutely stunning. So, yeah, probably that one.
So you've mentioned a lot of, obviously the car is like the big sell for these apprenticeships and actually working for Bentley in the community aspect and the social side. But is there anything else that kind of excites you about working at Bentley, or is, you know, just the cars? I mean, to be fair, that's a good enough reason for me.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. The car is just the product. We have such a range of products and they're beautiful. And I think given the journey that the business is on at the moment, we've got such an exciting 5 years ahead of us that's all been planned out. And it's really exciting to know that anything that we do as a colleague community is supporting that long-term organizational strategy or travel. So, you know, I think it's just a really exciting place to be in at the moment with the transition to a more electrified range and hybrid vehicles. I think trying to maintain that Bentley heritage for being such a beautiful car, how do we then transition it into the electrified space, whether it's hybrid or fully electric, you know, and there's lots of amazing and really fascinating work happening. So exciting. So I think, you know, being a part of that is such a fulfilling and purposeful reason to join our apprenticeship scheme.
Definitely. So we've got a very young audience, and I'm sure they're all like, oh my God, cars. I mean, I'm kind of like fawning over the cars too. But what advice would you give to someone who's looking to study an apprenticeship?
Yeah, I think if you detach the actual, you know, the Bentley side of things here, yes, of course, we've got an amazing apprenticeship scheme and best in class, and it's so well thought of and highly regarded. I think broadly speaking, apprenticeships are such a credible route into work these days. I think you have the benefit of learning the academic and educational side of things through the training provider. So you get taught all the theory that you need, and then you apply it in the workplace. So the workplace, you get the practical experience as well. And I think those two hand in hand really make for such a developmental and really a solid foundation for careers. So I would say being able to combine the academic side with the practical side and then start your career somewhere in between and kind of flex between the two is a really, really exciting and inspiring sort of proposition. So you're really developmental. And then, of course, the people around. So you've got the likes of myself and my team. We look after the support and development. You've got a line manager who's really bought in and invested into apprenticeships. And you've also got the wider community, so previous apprentices in the organisation, buddies, mentors. There's just such a focus on development. So I think it's such a positive reason to be a part of an apprenticeship, and I would really advocate for them and encourage them. In our business, we've seen people come through the apprenticeship scheme and then go on to such senior positions, and they really influence the business. So I think it's a great opportunity to learn, earn, and then add value to the business down the line.
Yeah. So with the learning and the earning, that's a massive draw to do an apprenticeship. You get to have the best of both worlds. But what sort of advice and what have you seen your apprentices doing to kind of balance that working and studying so that it doesn't kind of become a bit too overwhelming for them?
Yeah, it's a good question, and one that we see all the time in the organisation. So when we have our new starters, we tend to do a lot of work on this, how to balance your studying and your actual delivery of your work, whether it be projects or day-to-day tasks. Spinning the two plates can be quite challenging at times for everyone. So I think the first thing is we have such a great management population, and so managers of apprentices are really bought into the fact that they have to balance their work and their study. So instantly the time is allocated for apprentices to be able to to kind of carve out time of their day to dedicate towards their academic side of things. Our managers are very flexible, so if it turns out that we have an apprentice, and we really encourage them to be very open and honest. If they're saying, I've got lots of work on my plate at work, I've also got lots of coursework and academic work to deliver on, and if they say, I need some help on how to manage that, our managers will very much say, right, let's sit down, let's have a conversation, let's build a schedule and an action plan, and consistently measure and deliver on that. And then you've got my team, so we are an impartial central early career support team. So we will support the apprentices, we'll talk to them, we'll often have conversations, drop-in sessions, we'll speak to their providers, and if we get the insight, or we learn that there are any challenges with balancing that sort of work and academic side, we can intervene and support where we can. So I think there's lots of people and support systems around apprentices to be able to help with that concept of managing study and work. So yeah, we'll do our best, and the message that I always give to our apprentices is it's a journey, and if we need to roll our sleeves up and help out where we can, we absolutely will do that, and that's our core purpose. And the business, broadly speaking, are so passionate about apprentices that we absolutely understand how to manage, deliver, and execute them. So we know when to carve out time and when not to, and we build a really clear schedule that's manageable. So yeah, I guess the message there, the takeaway is we're always here to help, and we'll definitely do what we can to support in in managing work and study.
Yeah, that's really great. I don't know about you, but this cup, I've butchered this cupcake. I've absolutely butchered it. Yeah, it's toppled over. It's I'm making a little bit of a mess.
We need the knife and fork. Really,
we do. I know. Hey team, can you get some knives and forks, please? There's no wait staff in this diner. It's not really great. So we've spoken a lot about Bentley, the cars. I mean, it's really cool. You get to do so many different things, the social side. But what if someone hadn't heard of Bentley? How would you best summarize Bentley as a brand?
Yeah, well, we're luxury automotive, so our vehicles are in the luxury space. So beautiful vehicles that are absolutely eye-catching, worth a pretty penny too. So six-figure cars, they're really expensive, but the reason for that is the craftsmanship that goes into them is so meticulous, so particular, and it takes a lot of expertise to be able to deliver these gorgeous cars. So I think, in summary, that it's a brand that strive to achieve excellence. It's a brand that have extraordinary as a benchmark. That we won't deliver anything less than extraordinary, and that's extraordinary people in the business and extraordinary products. So the cars are absolutely stunning. They're such a range of paint available. We have a bespoke department called Mulliner, which can do some really cool things and tailor the products to their customers' needs. So we might have people stitching their initials into the seats or onto their dashboard. There's lots of different customizable options as well. So I guess it's a luxury vehicle brand that's owned by the Volkswagen Group, the VAG Group, and we aspire to achieve nothing but extraordinary products and greatness. So
this is really
it's crumbled. So yeah, just a beautiful brand that delivers beautiful products and is part of a huge international group.
So in order to kind of commit to that excellence, you need excellent people. So what do you look for in a candidate who's applied for an apprenticeship and has made it to the interview? What sort of skills and qualities do you want to see to kind of continue that drive to be excellent?
Yeah, definitely. And you know what? At when we recruit for our apprentices, what we look for is the intangible quality, so the things that you can't touch or see. So behaviorally, we look for curiosity, we look for passion, we look for drive. A real interest in the automotive sector would help. I think just an interest to be able to support and deliver and contribute towards that aspiration of excellence. So we look for, I guess it's the behavioural and the characteristics that we look for more than anything. And I think, real positive attitude and an ambition to roll their sleeves up and commit to learning as well as doing the day-to-day work and really engaging with their support system to get the best out of their apprenticeship. So, people that can really articulate and communicate how much they want an opportunity in the apprenticeship space, and then how they can contribute and support the vision of the business and what they'll do to help us achieve extraordinary results.
Sounds like there's a lot that gets there's a lot of effort that goes into an apprentice from both sides. And I know that you mentioned, like you said, there's a lot of support systems, there's a lot of social activities, but can you go into a little bit more detail for the mentoring side of things, and like how does that relationship work? Is your mentor your line manager, or can it be someone from a different part of the business, or how does it all work?
Yeah, so support systems are so crucial to us at Bentley. We absolutely understand and really live and breathe the need to support all our colleagues, particularly apprentices or anyone in the early careers population bracket. So we build this really credible support system. So the apprentice will have their line manager. So that's their day-to-day manager who will support on the technical aspects and, really support their development. Then they've got a mentor who is separate to the line manager, so someone within the department usually who is skilled in the subject that the apprentice is studying or trying to achieve. And so that person can give much more technical, dedicated time to that apprentice. So they can have regular catch-ups. We encourage developmental conversations, action planning, performance plans, all these things to really support with apprentice saying, I'd like to improve on X, Y, Z, and then the mentor will say, right, let's build a plan in place to get you to expose to those areas and therefore develop and upskill in those areas. So mentors will typically sit outside of the line manager, but then we've also got the training provider, who are the people that deliver the apprenticeship course academically. So they will have an assessor coach or a skills coach who operate very similar to a mentor, but from the academic side of things. So they will support on the coursework, and they will support on just general inquiries around what more can I do as an apprentice to deliver on this overall journey, and they often support there as well. And then you've got my team as well who do the same thing in terms of support. The early careers team are really central to building out these developmental plans, or we put on what we call masterclasses. So we might have a masterclass on delivering a presentation or managing your time or project management. We put on these separate classes that really support with the development of our apprentices as well.
That sounds, it really sounds like if you are interested in cars, if you're curious, if you are very keen to kind of go into this industry, then Bentley is a great place to be. From your kind of experience, what would you say, if you had to summarize Bentley, your experience, seeing all these apprentices come through, how would you describe all of this in 3 words? I'm putting you on the
3
spot.
words.
Just 3 words. Give us 3 words.
Can I have 5? No, we'll go with 3.
I can be lenient. If you've got 3, the power of 3 is always good.
Right, so I'll go extraordinary. I would say, is this 1 word or is it 2 with a hyphen in between? Maybe I'll find a loophole there, but I'd say exciting journey. So our forward-looking journey is looking so exciting. And then finally, I would say purposeful. So everyone who works at Bentley knows that they're contributing towards a really amazing goal, really amazing travel of business. What we're aspiring to achieve in the future is looking so fascinating, and it engages all of us, and it's a great journey to be a part of. So I would say really inspiring and engaging. So that's what I'd go with. If that's okay.
That's a lovely way to sum everything up, to be honest. And if we've got anyone that's watching and they're like, do you know what? I want to apply to Bentley. I want to be an apprenticeship. What advice would you give to someone who is starting to go through that application process? Because I know that there's a lot of information out there. It can be very daunting. People have a lot of questions to ask. So what would you advise?
So our Bentley roles will be available and live right now. So definitely have a look at the adverts, and we've got 26 positions available. So have a look at what they entail first and foremost. Our adverts are live right now. So if you click on any of them, there's a really detailed summary as to what the role will be and the apprenticeship standard that will be achieved. So I think firstly, get their heads around what's actually being asked and what will be the kind of day-to-day. So the job description will be really supportive in understanding that. I would say do the research around actual apprenticeships. So what, broadly speaking, what is so great about an apprenticeship, and what's the expectation? Can they commit to studying as well as day-to-day work? Can they commit to that? It's a really big commitment, and they're very structured. So yeah, despite being such a great opportunity to get into the business, there is a lot of commitment and dedication that's required. So I think an honest reflection of can I commit to this is a needed question. I would also say the chances are that our young audience will know someone who's doing an apprentice. So what better option is there to actually speak to someone who's doing an apprenticeship and just get more of an insight from someone who's on the journey themselves? And that might be a really good indication as to whether they can see themselves doing it or not. And then I think finally, just go for it, because there isn't anything to lose. The organisation will fund the apprenticeship. There isn't an additional cost. They can fund the apprenticeship, and the best they can do is just try it and hope for the best, and really trust the process that the people around them are supporting their development and will do their best to maximise their journey. So I think, just try it, roll your sleeves up, get involved, and see how you get on.
I think that's great advice. And actually, it's a lovely way to end this session. So thank you so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure. I think we'll probably end up eating these lovely cupcakes off camera, because I've absolutely butchered mine. Yours looks so pristine in comparison. I'm just looking forward to digging into this Ferrero Rocher. But to anyone watching, we have some links down below that you can go to find out more information of how to join Bentley as an apprentice, and for more information as well. So thank you very much, Ash. It's been a pleasure. And we'll see you in the next one.
See you soon.
Hello and welcome back to your guide to apprenticeships with Not Going to Uni. If you've just joined us, we're talking all things apprenticeships, and you've just missed our chat with Bentley Motors. Don't worry, it is all available on demand though. There are so many career paths that you can take, and if you're looking for something that's a bit more adventurous and a bit more outdoors, well then you might want to look at what this is. Our website is full of opportunities from the Royal Air Force, an employer that gives you not just a career but a lifestyle as well. Career-wise though, they pretty much have it all. They have chefs, engineering, nursing, regiment, drivers, HR and even linguistics. You name it, they probably have it. There are quite a few unique roles though in the military, so take a look at this one now.
Foxhound 1, crossing report line 1 now, over.
This is 0, Sega, over.
My location is Guid, Tango Lima, in 7. Habit 1-1, this will be a Type 2 control bomb on coordinate 1 times favorway 4 with a 15 millisecond delay. Habit 1-1, push ready.
The RAF Regiment is a great opportunity for those looking for a very full-on, action-packed career. Now, looking for something a bit calmer, well, let's move on to our next guest. Ethan earlier caught up with the guys at the Institute of Chartered Accountants for England and Wales, also known as the ICAEW. Let's take a look at that.
Hello and welcome to your guide to apprenticeships. My name is Ethan and I have swapped the podcast studio for the new Not Going to Uni Diner, and today we are going to be sitting down and talking all things apprenticeships. In this next session I am talking to the Institute of Chartered Accountants, and we're going to get eating and going to get snacking, but before we start I think it's probably best that we introduce you to our guests for today. So welcome guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Just start off with a little who you are and what you do.
Great, thank you. My name is Muka. I am an early careers executive at ICAEW.
Perfect.
I'm Morgan. I'm an audit semi-senior at Creston Reeves.
And I'm Bryony. I'm an audit assistant at Creston Reeves as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're looking forward to trying some snacks and having a chat about your kind of route to where you are today and a little bit more about the Chartered Institute. So without further ado, let's open the cloche and see what we've got. It's early at the time of recording, so we've gone for some lovely little cakes. So pick up some bits, guys, get snacking, and we'll start answering some questions.
Great, thank you.
So I suppose probably best to start off with a bit of an intro to the Chartered Institute. Muka, I suppose probably you're the best one to answer this question. Yeah. So can you give a little bit of insight into what ICAEW are and what they do?
Yeah, so the ICAEW are the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. Despite our name, we are a global leading professional body of chartered accountants. To date, we have around 38,000 students who are working towards becoming chartered accountants and over 169,000 members.
Amazing. And you obviously work for the Chartered
Yes.
Institute yourself,
Yes.
and we've got these two apprentices in front of us today. What is the relationship like between the Chartered Institute and apprentices working in accountancy firms or elsewhere?
Yeah, so we support our authorised training employers to provide apprenticeships for people who are aspiring chartered accountants to come into the profession through either level 7 apprenticeships or level 4 apprenticeships.
Perfect. I'm going to flip the questions over to the other side of the table now. Happy for either of you to kick this one off, but can you tell me what drew you to a career in chartered accountancy, and what was your journey like to getting to where you are today?
Yeah, I can do that one if you want. Yeah, I mean, I always loved just anything maths related at school. Just kind of, even when I was really young, it was always kind of something that came naturally to me. And then when I left school, community did nothing maths related. I went to college and just did sports science.
Cool.
Just because to me, that was another thing that I just loved doing was anything sporty related.
Yeah.
And then I actually left college. I went and worked for a utility company. Again, not related anything to do with finance. But it got to a point where I felt like I wanted to have an actual career in doing something. For me, it was a bit of luck where someone I knew knew someone who worked at Creston Reeves currently. So I got in touch with them, and yeah, this is where I've got to at this point. So I got quite lucky with that, and again, it obviously helped that it was like maths, finance, numbers related.
Yeah, went back to that kind of skill that you'd identified earlier on in your life.
Yeah, exactly. So for me, it was nice to be able to kind of pick that up again and focus solely on that as a career, rather than kind of wondering what I'm doing kind of every month, every time I go to work, and not really sure what I want to do with my life really. So yeah, it was really helpful to be able to, I guess, have the opportunity, and then everything that comes with it as well, really. So
Brilliant. And Bryony?
Yeah, mine's a bit different. So I came straight from school, and I did economics and finance in A-level,
Cool.
which kind of helped me kind of understand it a little bit more. And then originally I wanted to go to uni, because the school very much pushed it. But when we did careers fairs, you see more about the apprenticeships, and that's when I actually saw the Creston Reeves stand. And one of my friends works here. So when I saw her little face on the card, I was like, okay, I'll give her a message. I'll see what she thinks. And she loves it. So I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I always knew that I liked economics and just questioning why things happen and the reasons behind it. So
Brilliant. And I suppose I am not that well versed in understanding accountancy and stuff like that, but what was it that made you decide to go down doing it not at university? I don't know if it is it an option you can go and get chartered through a university, or?
So you can do, I guess obviously certain economics or whatever it might be at university, but I guess that might probably be a good question for you in terms of how much you can do as part of your qualification as well. But we have people that obviously have left university and gone to work for us, but there's still parts of the qualification you have to do in terms of the exams and things, because it's not there's multiple different things that are involved within the qualification in terms of the exams. You'll do different things from anything tax related or law, or we both work in audit, so audit's one of them as well. So it does vary in terms of what you actually need to I guess learn and pick up and do the examinations for and qualify for. But yeah, I mean, in terms of university, I mean, I wouldn't say it necessarily has an impact on if you wanted to start the qualification at all. You can, Bryony and myself, obviously, were two very different in terms of where we came from to do it. So yeah, and we know plenty of other people as well that are in the same position, especially within our company, that have done the same.
Okay,
we've
cool.
got people that have done the accounting degrees, and they're still doing an apprenticeship now as well.
Okay.
So you're going to need to do the exams at one point, at some point anyway, even if you have a degree. Obviously, you'll have exemptions.
Yeah.
Or obviously, it depends on what firm you're with and whether they'll actually honour the exemptions. But you
still have to go through and do the exams.
Yeah, just so that you're on the same levels.
Yeah. Okay, cool. No, that's really interesting. And I suppose that kind of leads into my next question, which is how you have found studying your apprenticeship, and how does the actual qualification work? I know you touched on bits of it, and that there are different exams you have to take and different kind of areas that you can specialise in or that you have to do. How does it work in terms of either leaving straight from school or straight from college or coming from university and then all getting to the same point at the end of being a chartered accountant?
So, so we, in terms of just kind of the process of it, so we are given like a syllabus of what examinations we have to, what things we have to pass to then get to our qualification.
Yeah.
And at least with our employer, they'll fund for us to be able to go to college classes that are provided for us to go and study and get as well prepared as we can, more or less. And then once we're ready to, that's when we then arrange for our exams to actually be booked and obviously take the exams themselves. So
when we started, we would have done the CFAB, which is the level 4, and we do it because we're classed as school leavers. We do it at like a slower pace to like ease us into it.
Okay.
With the uni leavers, they do it more quicker, and then they move up to ACA a lot quicker than what we would anyway. And then like we'd have the new intake, and then we'd move up with the ACA uni of the intake that's just been taken in. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So we do move up slower, but it helps us like understand the modules a little bit more, because obviously the uni leavers, they've just come out of uni, they know what the exams are going to be like.
And in terms of actually studying, is it something that comes more with you just pick up the knowledge in your day-to-day jobs, or do you have days where you specifically have to go to college to learn the theory, or how does that dynamic work between study and work?
A lot of it is definitely from college. I think there's obviously bits that you pick up from your work, but there's certain things that we might not necessarily focus on within our job. Obviously, audit being our main role, we might not necessarily pick up things that are maybe tax related, or we do still work on certain things in regards to tax, but it's not, I guess, our primary kind of role to focus on something like that. So college is quite a helpful tool when it comes to learning and gaining a lot more knowledge. There's a lot that I've picked up on that I wouldn't have had a clue on, and now I've gone back to work, I've kind of been able to relate it to things that have happened within my job as well. So I think it'll be different for different people, I think, but for me personally, I feel like I've picked up more when it comes to college and having that time to study and learn that, and then following you have your college classes, you kind of have the responsibility to focus on the areas you might not be too like, I guess, knowledgeable on, to prepare yourself as best as you can, really. So
okay, cool. That's really interesting, because from my perspective as an apprentice as well, I find that a lot of my knowledge comes predominantly from my work. So I pick up a lot more day to day, and then actually when it comes to doing my assignments, I can be like, oh, I know 90% of it, but I want to get this last little bit in. I'll go to the textbook or find something I've done in the lectures. So it's interesting to see that your relationship with work and study is almost flipped compared to mine. So yeah, no, that's a really good insight, especially for people looking to understand, because I know obviously some people will much prefer the work and some people will much prefer the study. So that's really interesting. I think, Bryony, you mentioned that as school leavers, you go through it at a slightly slower pace compared to uni leavers.
Yeah.
That kind of links quite nicely into my next question about time frame. And from day one starting your job and your apprenticeship, how long does it take to get to a chartered status? And I know this might be different across different firms and different roles and stuff like that. So I suppose, Muka, my first question is there like a broad guideline to say it will happen at some point between X and Y number of years? And then I suppose we'll flip over to the other side of the table and we can talk about when you guys started and when you're going to finish and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'd say on average for school leavers, it's around 3 to 5 years. There are some firms who will do sort of the level 4 qualification first, and then you'll sort of change on to the level 7 qualification. And there's some that will just sort of start you on the level 7 apprenticeship sort of straight away, and you work your way through that in an average of sort of around 5 years. So it depends on sort of how that is structured or on average. But yeah, really would be great to find out sort of how you guys have found your experience so far, where you guys are at the moment.
Yeah, so go.
So we started on the level 4 one, and we started that in December 23.
So we would have started that in September. So September we started that, and then
So that's a year, like it's just over a year that we do that.
Yeah.
And then after that, we then move on to the professionals, which is the level 7, and then that's split out, and we should be qualifying in July 27.
Okay.
So it's about 4 years.
Yeah.
Roughly for us.
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It obviously would depend as well, and obviously if you pass the exams as well.
Yeah, it's just the timings of when you do them.
3 to 5 years is probably it would make sense in terms of if you need a little bit more time to do things and to sit any exams you might maybe have struggled with a bit more. But yeah, I mean our I guess target is around July 2027 definitely.
Okay, cool. So you're definitely cracking on. You're working your way through it, and it not long left to go then.
Yeah, especially we're already in 2025.
Yeah, exactly.
It's getting very quick. So,
I had a question, but it's just gone out of my mind. So I'm going to skip ahead, and I'll come back to it if I remember it. But I suppose different companies offer different opportunities in different places. Yeah. So to promote them to school leavers or uni leavers and stuff, companies pull different levers in order to promote those. You've both mentioned how you came across your roles that you're in currently, and neither of them were particularly, we went through Indeed or whatever, like you both kind of knew someone that was already in there, or you saw a careers fair. But is there somewhere that you can go if you want to find out about all available ICAEW apprenticeships that are available? I suppose let's start with that.
Yeah, absolutely. The ICAEW training vacancy site is sort of the best sort of main hub to find both sort of school leaver roles, work experience opportunities, as well as, for those people who may consider going to university graduate roles. You can filter by school leaver opportunities as well if you're specifically looking for those. You can also filter by location if there's a specific area within the country where you're looking for roles. You can filter by that as well. My best recommendation is to also set up an alert. So rather than just constantly going back to look, what are the roles like this week? Set up the alert that goes straight to your inbox. So when roles are live, they come directly to your inbox. So that's probably the best way to find out about.
Brilliant. So rather than you going to the roles are coming to you.
Basically, exactly.
Makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you can filter by all of those variables you said there. So there must be hundreds or thousands of roles that are currently available. Maybe not at the moment, but at periods of time. Because I think you said at the beginning it was 38,000 current apprentices in the UK or something like that?
Current students that we have, so there'll be a mix of apprentices and graduates as well, and career changes within that as well. But yeah, in terms of roles, they do sort of fluctuate throughout the year, depending on what time of year you're looking. Would say probably the main application seasons for school leavers start around about end of September all the way through to probably about April time of year.
Okay.
We find employers for school leaver roles advertise anywhere between sort of 9 months to sort of 3 months in advance of the role actually starting.
Okay, brilliant. That's a really good insight for some people, because different apprenticeships at different levels with different companies take different amount of time, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
I know my application period was, I think I applied at the end of June and was straight in September. It was really quick. So, but I also know some people where it took like almost a year. So that's really good insight there. Thank you. I want to move on to a question more broadly about being a chartered accountant. Obviously, you two work for Creston Reeves, an accountancy firm, is that right? An audit firm?
Yeah, they're a training firm as well.
Cool.
Hence,
yeah,
see why we're doing it.
Yeah. But there must be other industries that you can go and work in as a chartered accountant once you become chartered. Is there any limit to where you can work as a chartered accountant?
From what we know, no, the opportunities are limitless, I would probably say. That we've got people working in sports, fashion, entertainment, technology. It's really great because it allows you to merge like your passions with, obviously working in finance and accountancy and business as well. And you can really build a career that continues to grow as you're growing. Your average sort of 3 to 5 years of qualifying is a really small portion of what will be like a 30 plus year career, sort of average membership wise. So in 30 years time or 20 years time, you may be completely interested in something completely different from when you trained, and it doesn't limit you from just working in a practice firm or working in just that area that, you know, you may have qualified in like a retail company, for example. You don't have to stay there. You can take those expertise into other areas as well, with the sort of skill set that you've built throughout the ACA qualification.
So much like any other qualification you get, really, as soon as you're qualified in a discipline, as long as it's not too specialised, you can take it wherever.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really the expertise and sort of that you gain from it that you're able to take. We've got lots of people who also start their own businesses as well, which is fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And this is just a bit of a side question. Is there anything that you guys are looking at the moment, looking forward into the future, that you might be like, that's a really cool industry. Once I'm chartered, that might be a really cool place for me to go?
I feel it's hard because I feel like I've probably not thought that far ahead, but I feel like there's a lot of clientele that we work with where it is really interesting, and like I find myself sometimes just trying to find out more just about the general kind of type of job that they do, rather than kind of actually focusing on what I'm there for. I feel like I'm kind of talking to the people that work there about the industry and what they do. I think there's a few that I've kind of liked around like sports and things like that, but again, I feel like it will just constantly change in my head every year that I go to different places and see different things. So I think at the moment I'm trying not to focus more on maybe where I want to go from in terms of industry wise, because it is nice, kind of like we mentioned earlier, finding out about all these different types of places. And like if I wanted to go and do something, ideally I want to do something that I'm really set my heart on going into, and I can kind of, whether it's my own business or whether it is something that's helping another business out, for example.
I suppose that's kind of the beauty of where you are right now, is that you have full visibility of all of the clients that you're working with, which is really nice.
Exactly that, yeah. So it's nice to be able to get as much exposure to every kind of type of industry you could probably think of, whether that is a company, whether it's a charity maybe, or our firm even do academies as well, so we do help out with schools and trusts, and so you really do get a wide range of industries that you could potentially look at in the future if you ever wanted to.
Okay, so just keeping your options open at the moment and just focusing on getting your qualification done.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's probably the best bet, and then I'll figure it out from there. I think is probably my personal. Don't know about you.
Yeah, no, I obviously want to focus on getting qualified first. But if I am looking far ahead, I do really like academies. I know that's a very odd thing to say, because usually when with audit anyway, academy season's hectic with the deadlines that they go through. But when I'm there, I just love their environment. I think it's just so nice and cozy. I feel like that's where I want to be.
Okay, brilliant. So yeah, good mixture of answers there. Keep my head down for now, keep my options open, but potentially looking to go and work with academies later on. That's really cool. So this again leads really nicely into my next question. It's almost like they pay me to do this. Looking at your job now, you've spoken about some of the kind of companies you work with and the kind of things you have to do when you're working with them. How does it look day to day in your role? So maybe during a really busy time, like academy period, I think you called it. What does it look like day to day doing that, or some of the other audity things that you're doing?
I think it depends really, because there's some jobs where we work on a day-to-day basis where we have to be out actually at the client, with the client. So that's obviously where you get a lot more exposure. Some just aren't necessarily needed to be us on site and face to face with them. But yeah, I mean, we, in terms of just the general job itself, we get a lot of time to kind of sit and build, I guess, our relationship with each client, as well as obviously doing the actual job we're there to do. So in terms of a week to week, it honestly changes every week. Again, where we work on different clients, no week's ever really, I guess, the same. There'll be different things that we're doing while we're there, or whether we're in the office or whatever it might be. The flexibility of obviously being able to work from home on some days as well. But yeah, I mean, we spend a big chunk of our focus as well is making sure we have that relationship still with clients, to whether it's actually doing the job that they're obviously paying us and asking us to do, or whether it is just building that relationship so that they can trust us and they know that going forward we're I guess the firm they want to continue to employ to do their audits or whatever. I mean, we do other things as well within our firm, but yeah, I mean, we focus very heavily on making sure we're doing right by the clients and making sure that everything that we're doing, we're keeping in touch, keeping up to date. And yeah, I guess in terms of audit itself, I mean, I'm not necessarily, personally, before I joined, I never really knew much about audit myself. A lot of it it's effectively just going through everything that's happened in their year, making sure that we're asking them about events that might have happened in the year, and just making sure that there's anything that we need to effectively discuss with them, and any other help I guess we can provide for them as well.
So I suppose it, like you said, if you're looking through their year and looking back at things they've done and questioning and probing and making sure everything's correct, that's why that like level of trust comes in quite a lot, right? Because ultimately being able to hand that over to a firm that you trust is paramount to making sure that you get good quality results back. So I suppose the point I'm getting to is that the people watching shouldn't be so obsessed necessarily with the core bit of the job, but also make sure that they focus on that kind of trust building aspect as well.
Definitely, yeah. So we're always encouraged to, whenever we want to go and speak to the client, whether we do it over the phone if we're not with them at the time, or to just go and talk to them if they're there. A lot of feedback we've got in the past has always been, we want to talk to you more. We want to be able to like interact with you more rather than just over email and messaging kind of every day with them about, oh, can we have this, or oh, what's happening with this. It's a lot easier to obviously have the face-to-face conversation, but also it's nice to just build that relationship with them. When we go back the following year, it's as if you can just continue it as if it's just been left off from before. So
interesting. A lot to unpick there. So I suppose I've asked the question to Morgan, so I'll ask the question to you as well, Bryony. What does your day-to-day, week-to-week look like? Is it very similar to Morgan's, or do you have different responsibilities that might change that?
Well, because I'm an audit assistant, I kind of need to report back to the semi-senior or like the managers on the job, just so that they know where I'm at on the job. And I will still talk to the clients, but I like to make sure with the semi-senior or the manager that the questions like relevant. Like I want to make sure that I'm asking the right questions, or is this something that I should know already? So at least then like I don't look stupid to the client. And like Morgan said, it's better when we're like face to face with the client, because like instead of just talking about the work, we can actually get to know them. And like when we go back to see them the next year, they know us like personally. And over emails, like it's just difficult. Like when they're doing other work as well, like the email might just like fall like down. Like you don't know when they're going to get back to you. But yeah, it's pretty similar to Morgan's.
Okay, cool. It sounds like Creston Reeves as a firm is very focused on like the relationships between you and your clients. What is it like working for a company that has a focus like that? What is the culture like internally? What are the relationships like with your clients? You've said they can be very close and trusting, but what are also the relationships like internally, and what's it like to be an apprentice for them?
I mean, we have multiple different offices, so I can't necessarily, I guess, speak for where we have these other offices where we work solely. It's probably where I can vouch for more. But I mean, it's on a professional level, it's very sociable. Like we work with different people within our office. It's not just a case of you work with the same one or two people every day, every week. You'll work with more or less. I could probably say I've worked with everyone in our office at some point in the time that I've worked there. So. Everyone's very supporting. A lot of them, well, all of them at some point were students as well. So when it comes to studying, examinations, they all get it. They all understand if you're struggling, if you're kind of having to focus more time on exams or studying at that point in that week. Like they understand it completely. Like we have catch-ups with managers at some point, normally once or twice every month, to be able to go through how things are going. Just more focused solely on our studies, basically, because that is a big part, obviously, they employ us. Obviously, fund for our qualification, so they kind of have that expectation that as much as we have that responsibility to do that ourselves, they're also there to support us.
Yeah.
So they're very much, they care for what you're doing on a daily basis, not just job related, but also for your qualification as well. But yeah, I mean, it's a really nice place to work. Like it's always nice to be able to go in and catch up with people, and again, you're doing the job with them every day, different people, so you just find out a range of different people, where they've come from as well, because not everyone's necessarily qualified with Creston Reeve. They might have qualified elsewhere and joined. So you find out a lot more about what it's like working elsewhere or different places in the country, for example. So
okay, yeah. Brilliant. And Bryony, your experience relatively the same?
Yeah. With like the relationships in the office, like it's very like tight knit. Like like Morgan said, we're mixed with what jobs we're on, and we do like office socials, and cool. Even with like the Canterbury office, we will have like a yearly social with them. So it's not just like segregated into the offices. Like we should still like all meet up at some point, which is nice. And then we do like charity events as well, which is nice to do with everyone in the office, just to get them out of the like office background environment. Yeah. Just to see them out and about. Like it's nice just to help the local community. Okay,
cool. It sounds like you have a really good relationship with everybody inside the office, but also I think that a lot of aspiring apprentices really worry about the fact that they're not going to uni, they're going to miss out on a big social aspect. But it sounds like you guys haven't experienced that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really feel like I missed out on much personally. Again, like Brian said, we're all quite a sociable bunch, at least within the office. So I guess the bonus with that is that we're working towards a qualification while we're doing all this. We're also getting the experience of working, to the point where when we hopefully obviously qualify, we have years of experience of working in that role, so that when it comes to the point where we might want to venture off elsewhere, we don't have that issue of, we don't really have much experience actually within the job. Like you find a lot of jobs that although you might have qualifications, that you don't have the experience for it, whereas this you're getting both within one, as well as the sociable aspect that you might get at university, which again, I don't feel like we would miss out on as such, because it's not even necessarily just the social events as such. It's like what you said about the charity events and things. Like we don't just do things for our own sake. We do things together for
like the greater good.
Exactly, to work towards something else, whether it's raising money for charities or whatever it might be. So everyone kind of gets together to do things at certain times, almost as if you're kind of back at uni in a way. But yeah, again, I mean, I wouldn't say we miss out on it at all.
I feel like the uni experience is just on another level anyway.
Yeah.
But for like long term, this is like a good way to go, because like you said, we have the office socials, we go out, we go to the pub, like we're doing normal uni stuff. We're just not doing it to their extent.
Yeah.
Which I think is a little bit more
it's a good
contained.
Balance. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a really good way to put it. And we are running out of time, so I want to just end with some final thoughts from all of you. I suppose I'm going to offer it up to the group, because you'll all have potentially different answers, but just some advice really that any of you might have for aspiring applicants, whether that be for audit specifically or whatever. Just some last little nuggets of advice that you can offer up to everybody listening.
I'll start first. So if anyone's looking to become a trainee accountant, I think my best advice from speaking to lots of different people who are training, qualified as well, is that don't focus so much on the fact that what you don't have, which is obviously the experience side of it, and that's what you'll get out of being a trainee accountant. Focus on what you do have, leverage those transferable skills. You'll be working either part-time, volunteering, taking part in group activities, all these sort of skills that they've talked about, relationship building. You're doing that in whatever you're doing at the moment, whether it be sports, etc. Look for those experiences and how you can speak to employers about those experiences, rather than focusing on, I don't have the experience in working in finance.
Brilliant.
I guess just making sure that's actually what you're wanting to do. I'd say don't just commit to it if it's something you feel like is just a second option. Like if it's like, I've got to do something, it's if you're committed to it, you'll want to do it, and I think you'll find ways of enjoying it as well, of what you learn, and again, just if you are unsure about what kind of industry you want to work in, it's fantastic because it opens up so many different options for what you do want to do. So definitely, if it's something that you've had a thought about, and it's something you might have enjoyed during your time at school, especially from obviously from my personal experience of just maths, numbers, things like that I really enjoyed doing. Yeah, it fit perfectly for me, and again, it just gives me so much exposure to anything I want to go and do going forward, basically, especially once I become qualified. I just have that open channel to go wherever I want to go, really. So
brilliant. And to finish,
I just think that, say if you did A-levels, if you did nothing to do with economics, finance, don't feel put off by not applying. Like, you don't need, like you said, you don't need that past background. They want to build you. Like, they're paying for you to become the best that you can be. So don't just feel put off by what you haven't done. Like, look forward for what you can do.
Brilliant. I think those are all really lovely pieces to end off on. So thank you so much for joining me in the diner today. We obviously have a little bit of food left, so please feel free to take it with you, and I'll get someone to bring the bill over in a minute, and we'll settle this. Probably split it down the middle, just to let you know. But that is us done for today. So thank you very much for joining us here in the diner. If you are interested about anything that you have heard today, make sure you check the description, and there will be links for you to find out more. But again, just a final note to say thank you all very much for joining me today. And for you at home, thank you for joining as well. And I'm sure I will see you again very soon.
It looks like Ethan enjoyed his chat with the ICAEW. If you are interested in learning more, you can head over to the Not Going to Uni website, where there'll be tons of information. Before we jump back into our next guests, we're going to jump back into the automotive world. We recently took some time to visit Toyota in Northern Ireland to see the opportunities that were offered for the young people over there. Take a look at this.
Today we're in Belfast for an apprenticeship open day with Toyota and Lexus in partnership with Rutledge. Let's get started.
We've had such a mix of people through the door. Some people ready for an apprenticeship now, some people ready for an apprenticeship in a couple of years even, people who haven't really made any decisions at all. So we've been able to have experts here to talk through all the different routes forward. We've had probably 100 potential apprentices through the door. It's been busy, it's been chaotic, but it's been fantastic. Over here in Northern Ireland, we've given a lot of advice out for people who haven't known what the next steps are in their studies or in their careers. We've also been able to explain how it works for Toyota and Lexus.
I actually saw an advert for the Toyota Apprenticeship Day. At first it was quite intimidating because I was older than everybody else, but I feel like I really developed my confidence and my knowledge. We have a responsibility to be upskilling our communities locally and bringing in new sources of talent to the business. Apprenticeship is a fantastic future-focused way of doing that.
What new skills have you learned since doing your apprenticeship?
Oh, I learned a lot of new skills. I learned how to diagnose the car in the first place. I learned a lot about health and safety and what I should do in a workshop or in a place of work and what I should not.
I didn't know what to expect. We've got 3 days of events this week. Today we're in a dealership world. It's fantastic. People are walking in and thinking, you know, what role for me here? And we've been able to sort of reassure them that there are apprenticeship roles, they'll be well supported, there are careers here for them.
Well, I too got to have the pleasure of spending some time with Toyota GB from all over the country. We did technical sales, we did technicians, accountants. The training that they seem to have is world class, and there is an abundance of opportunities for someone that is looking to get into the automotive industry through Toyota. But next, our final session focuses on some very different careers to what we've seen previously. But before we get chatting, let's look at exactly who they are.
Go down the south side road.
More units now.
Change is hard. It's easier to do nothing. Change isn't for everyone. but you're not everyone. Change needs a certain person to step in, to stop it, to protect others before themselves. Change needs courage. Change needs empathy. Change needs respect. Change needs you. Search Met Careers.
The Metropolitan Police have so many opportunities available on the Not Going to Uni website right now. But before you go and apply, Noor took the time to speak to them about what life in the Met Police is really like. Take a look at this.
Hello and welcome back to your guide to apprenticeships, brought to you by Not Going to Uni. Today I'm joined by the Metropolitan Police and we'll be diving into their experiences with apprenticeships. So, hello, welcome.
Hello.
Could you guys please introduce yourselves?
Okay, yep, my name is Stacia Trell. I'm from Jamaica. I've been in the Met for the past 17 years, full-time for 8 years. I was a special constable for 9 years.
And I'm Tony Kilsby. I'm from SE London, South East London, based at Lewisham, and I was a special for 4 years for another force and have been with the Met for 2.5 years.
And I'm Karen Aldwell and I work at Brunel University and I've been working with the Met for 2 years.
Nice, right. I know that we've got a little platter here, so we have bought some snacks for our conversation today, and I'm sure you guys already know this, and you've got the saucers open already, so we're ready to go. So I'm just going to do a quick reveal. It's still in the box, so let's put that down here. You guys happy for me to just
dive in?
Just dump it. Yep. So we've got some wings from Wing Kings, which is a new-ish restaurant that's opened, and as you can tell by the name, they do wings. So we'll be having that for us today. And then for you, Karen, we've got you some fries.
Thank you very
So
much.
We'll be having those all
Put
to
them in the
yourselves.
middle. I'll share with everyone.
Lovely. Right. So now that we've got the important bit aside, so Stacia, I know that you mentioned that you've been a police officer for 17 years. And you mentioned the special constable. So could you please tell me a little bit more about your kind of 17 years altogether?
Okay, so as a special constable, I was working for the council and an email came about that they were looking for people from within the council to join the Met Police because the Olympics were coming to London. And I saw the email and I thought, oh, exciting. I've always wanted to join the police because I came into the UK and I fell in love with the bill. And I thought, oh, this is amazing. So I went home very excited, said to my other half, oh, I'm joining the Met. As a special constable, it was a total no, you're not. But I persevered and yeah, here I am today. So as a special constable, you volunteer your time. So the ask is to do 16 hours per month, but you can do as much more, but that's the minimum you can do. And you wear the exact same uniform. It's just that it says special constable as opposed to police constable on it. You have the same rights. You carry a warrant card. You get all the free travel. Yeah, but the only thing is you're not paid by the Met. You get allowances for like your meals and stuff like that. But yeah, and have been full-time for the past 8 years.
Very nice. And Tony, I know you started off as a special constable as well. How long have you been with the Met?
So I've been with the Met for 2.5 years, and I joined using the university programme. So yeah, it's been really enjoyable. I've enjoyed it. It's good fun. Obviously, put a lot of effort into your university and learning as well at the same time. But it's been a good experience so far.
Nice. And I'll go back to you, Tony. What made you decide to join the Met Police?
I wanted to join the Met because I feel like they're obviously based out of London. You always see when you ever look on like the TV or online that it's always the Met that are being represented, and I feel like I wanted to be part of that and be proud of who I worked for. And I feel like when you are there, you all feel as one, if that makes sense. So I felt like you've got great support from all different angles, whether or not that's from the university to being on the front line as a police officer.
Nice. What about you, Stacia?
Okay, so why did I want to join?
Yeah.
Was that the question?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Why do you want to join?
So I came into the UK from Jamaica. The police in Jamaica is just totally different from what it's like here. So I would never have considered it there. Came into the UK, loved everything about the police here and everything. And that the opportunity that came about to try it kind of before you actually commit full time was like amazing. So I decided, and again, I wanted to help the most vulnerable in our society. And we now know, I get to know that if you do a job like policing, it extends your lifespan by 20%. So that's a good incentive as well to join. So yeah. But yeah, just being able to help the most vulnerable people when they're very lowest, you know, and they call us for help. Yeah.
I think you get a real sense of satisfaction at the end of the day when you know you've done your best for someone. And as you said, like you've been there for people in their darkest times.
Yeah.
People don't just call the police for the fun of it. They need us. And I feel like you can go home knowing that you've done a really good job for somebody.
Yeah, it's definitely a key part of our community. I mean, the reason why a lot of people feel safe in their homes is because you're out there and you're making sure that everyone does feel safe, which is really important. Now, Tony, I know that you were saying that before off camera that you were working as a cabin crew member.
Yeah.
So how do you feel that what skills were you able to take from that role into what you do now?
Policing, in a sense, is almost like customer service. It's the way you speak to our communities. And the skill I brought from being cabin crew was just learning really how to speak to someone, how to level with them. Obviously, when you're on board a plane or whether or not you're in the streets of London, you meet all different sorts of people from different backgrounds, different life skills. And I thought it was really important that when I became a police officer, I brought that over just so I can speak to someone how I would want to be spoken to, really.
And Karen, I know that you've been busy eating your chips.
I have
hopefully.
eaten my chips, yes.
But so from your kind of perspective, what different roles can an officer move into as their career progresses?
Oh, there's so much choice, which is a brilliant thing. So, for example, we've got the firearms unit, there's the dog unit, there's counter-terrorism. You can specialise, or you can move up the ranks. You can become a sergeant, you can go into leadership roles, you can be an inspector. There's a lot of variety. There's something for everybody, I think. If you love horses, there's the mounted police as well. Police divers, we live near a big river, the River Thames. So, yeah.
I didn't realise that you could...
So many different opportunities, that you can move into.
Marine support
unit. Riverboat police,
So there's something for everyone.
Something for everyone, I firmly believe,
You can actually be in an helicopter as well. You've got
the drones unit, and yes, the helicopter.
Yeah, you can actually, and the drone, that's a new thing as well.
That's really cool.
Yes.
Pretty much do anything if you're interested.
Land, it's the sea, it's
there
land,
really
not the sea,
is.
the Thames, and
You can also do the Royal and Specialist Protection.
Oh yeah.
That was probably one of the reasons why I joined the Met. It's where you look after either royalty, so like the king, or you can specialise and go to people within the government, and you're basically their protection. That's probably one of the reasons why I joined over, just for more opportunities.
And you've got traffic if you like motorbikes. Cars, traffic police.
I do know that there are some really cool undercover cars that the police uses. I've seen a few kind of floating around, and it's like, quite fun to drive.
Absolutely.
They are good fun.
Have you had any fun experiences with that then?
I think obviously everyone, whether or not in your mirror, you can always see a police car, can't you, straight away? So when you're in an unmarked police car, you're just there as an element of surprise. So you see a lot more going on, shall we say.
So like when you see the police badge, you're like, oh, I need to be careful.
Even when you know you're not doing something wrong, you're on edge, aren't you?
Make sure my speed is correct. So I know that you mentioned as well before that policing has taught you quite a lot, especially I think you mentioned, Stacia, the patience aspect.
Oh, definitely.
So in addition to that, is there anything else that policing has taught you?
There's so much courage, compassion, having empathy. It's quite vast. The amount of things I've learned about myself, that policing has taught me. You're dealing with people on a daily basis from different backgrounds, different walks of life. You're dealing with elderly people. You're dealing with very young. So, there's so much that this job, I tell you,
and every day
puts
is so
on the
different,
table.
right?
No 2 days ever the same, which makes it exciting.
Yeah, it does.
I'd say it's not like you can have a deja vu moment being in the police, because no 2 days the same.
I think you have to show a bit of patience when you're dealing with everyone, because people might not necessarily like that the police are there, and they might be quite hostile towards us to start off with. I think if you show someone patience, respect, then it goes a long way, and then they'll start to open up towards you.
And you do get that back.
Yeah, you do.
I would say forget all the stuff that we use, our baton and our cuffs and all of that. The most effective tools that we have as police officer is our mouths, how we communicate with people. 99.9% of the time, if you give respect, you do get that back, even when someone has done wrong.
Yeah.
So
In the short time I've been with the Met, I'm a taser trained officer, and I've never used my taser, I've never used my baton, I've never used my parva. I just use my mouth to communicate with someone.
That's really nice to hear, actually. It's really good. Having it is good, but also not needing to
Yeah, I
use
mean,
it.
obviously it's there, it's great protection for us.
Yeah.
For me, it's my last resort. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm there to help someone. I'm not there for anything else. So using your voice is a great tool.
Oh, the most definitely.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people get the wrong ideas about police because we carry all the stuff. But that's the last thing we want to do, be pulling a baton or be, if we can talk someone into about whatever the situation is, that's the way forward. That's the best way. Yeah.
So you've mentioned communication, patience, customer service. Are there any other skills and traits that you feel are really key to your role?
Maybe courage.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll go to a call and it might sound terrible coming out on the radio of what you're about to get to, but you've got to have that courage to be the person to get out, to open that door, to see what's behind it, because you have to have that courage to be able to go in there and be the change to make someone's day better. I would say that's quite important.
And you know what I would say as well, especially when I've been in response car, we're going to a call, an emergency call. It's like, I don't know if it's our training, but it's like you're ready to face whatever.
Yeah.
You know that someone behind that telephone needs our help.
Yeah.
And it's like you're going ready, no matter what the situation is, you are ready for it.
Absolutely. So police officers go towards danger, whereas other people would
run
move away from danger.
Yeah.
My family and friends outside of work always say, how do you do that? I'm not that type of person when I'm not at work, but I think when you put on the uniform, you're there to serve the public at the end of the day, and you become a different person.
Yeah. I mean, I know that you mentioned earlier when we were talking off camera that you feel safe because you know that there are so many units.
Yeah.
So how does that kind of work?
I think with the Met, there's so many police officers that are out there, and if there was an emergency where I needed somebody there, I know that I can have my colleagues there within minutes, because there's just a vast amount of us. It does make you feel safe knowing that there's going to be someone there if you actually need them. So
the thing is, when we're on shift together, we all hear the same calls. We're on the radio, so we hear what our colleagues are going to. Right. So we're ready to go and support our colleagues. We always go in number to support each other. I think that's why there are times when, you see in the media or wherever people go, why, oh my goodness, why are there so many officers? We hear the same calls. Yeah. We know that our colleagues need us, and we're going to support our colleagues. And obviously to be there for whatever the situation is as well. But we have each other's back in this case.
I've noticed
when you're
that
in
as well.
situations, as I said, we hear it on the radio, and you're just listening out and just,
The worst thing you want is the emergency button to go off, isn't it? It's
yes.
like a button on top of our radio that we push, and it will cut out the whole of the radios, and it will just be mine playing whatever I'm shouting will play to everybody. And when that happens, your heart drops, doesn't it?
And everyone
drops whatever they're doing and goes straight towards that call.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed through the police officers that I work with at Brunel University, that collaboration, that teamwork, just amazing.
Yeah.
It's like you'll be in the middle of something and all of a sudden you hear it and everything's just changed and you're screwed. You're ready. You're listening. You want to know what's going on.
But your heart is going because
Yeah.
you're thinking, I need to get there. I need to help my colleague out.
That sounds like, I mean, it's really lovely to hear all this kind of like community aspect, and you know, you say that you deal with so many different kinds of people as well. Karen kind of left you here, but
That's okay.
In your opinion, why do you think diversity is so important in policing?
It's so important because the Met has to, or the police in general have to reflect the communities that they work in, and they have to have an understanding of the people that they work with as well. So absolutely, it's key. It's very, very important that we reflect society and community.
We obviously serve the communities that we work in, so being diverse is probably one of our number one skills that we have to have. We meet different people from all different types of background.
Yeah.
You have to be adaptive towards them.
And London is one of the most diverse cities
So
in the
real
world.
melting pot.
So being reflective of the community we serve is very, very important. You know that you've got people coming in with different language, different cultures, different religion. We need to be able to understand each other so that we can be more effective when we're dealing with the public, you know.
Yeah, and aware of difference because we are all different.
Yeah, definitely.
I quite like as well that because we do serve in London, we've obviously got a lot of tourists, and I feel like tourists look at us as we're the Met. Like that makes me feel proud every time when we go home.
Yeah, you're the police team that tourists see when they come to the UK. That's so you
have their photos taken with.
Do you get that
all the time? If you're in central London, you'll always have a tourist come up to you and say, "Can I get a picture?" And when you take one, you'll take lots.
That must feel really nice.
It's
though,
nice,
because
yeah,
you
I
get
like
to
it.
communicate even with people that aren't part of our community.
No, they're just a visitor towards us, but it is really nice.
And the minute you get them to put the hat on, it's like all over.
Yeah, we didn't have enough space on this table to have the hat, so that's really lovely. So, Tony, I know that you said that you've not been in the Met Police for a very long time, but what would you say your career kind of aspirations are at the moment?
So I mentioned the Royal and Specialist Protection. Yeah. For me, that's one of the key reasons and main reasons why I joined the Met. I've just got such a passion towards it. I think a bit like our tourists that come to the UK, everyone is like, oh, it's the royal family. Like, for me, that's what I want to do. Like, I've got an interest in that. I want to specialise towards that. That'll be my next goal after policing.
Nice. Stacey?
I've done quite a few specialist roles, and I'm really interested in going up the ranks as well. So I'll be looking to do my sergeant's exam so that I can go up the next level. In the near future. And look into different specialism as well. There's so many, and my mind keeps changing. I think definitely going up the ranks firstly, and then look at what else is out there at the time after I've passed my exams, and but definitely want to specialize in something.
And that's the good thing about the Met, isn't it? That you can work in different units, so you can change.
Yeah.
You can work in traffic. Yeah. You can go to counter-terrorism. You can move about and
firearms.
You do have the freedom for that, don't you?
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah.
So for someone like myself who isn't very aware of how the different ranks within the police, could you tell me a little bit more about what that sort of ladder looks like? So, where do you start off, and what's sort of like the highest rank that you can get to within the police?
So you can start off. I mean,
Start
I
off
could
as-
be looking at the next commissioner right here. You know? Absolutely.
I don't want to say anything.
So you start off at a police constable, and you can go to as high as being the commissioner.
Yeah.
You know, you just go up sergeant. You've got inspector. You've got
Chief inspector.
Chief commander. You've got superintendent.
Yeah.
Chief superintendent.
There's
An
loads
endless
of
list,
them.
yeah. And just because that you might be doing that with frontline policing, you can do that in other aspects and areas in all different departments as well. So it really is a vast amount of opportunities.
And the thing is, we all have the same opportunities. So the exams, for example, if anyone wanted to be a sergeant, once you're out of your probation, you've got that support from your line manager. They always offer that support anyway.
Yeah.
The exam comes out twice per year, so you've got the opportunity to go for it. You can, if you go once and you don't get it, you can go the next time within that same year. There's no limit to the amount of time you can apply. You sit your exam, you pass your exam. There's a board, you pass your board, and yeah, the sky's the limit. And as I said, it's open to everyone.
Yeah. So what advice would you give to someone who was looking to start going into policing then?
You know, I would say you might think you don't have what it takes, but you so do. As long as you've got a passion to help the most vulnerable in our society, because that's what it is. You know, wanting to help people. Just back yourself. I would have thought that I could never in a million years be a police officer in London. Where I'm from in Jamaica, the hills of Jamaica in the country, the higher you climb, it's the higher you get. When I first came into the UK, I was even afraid to speak to people because I thought my patois was so bad. But no, in all fairness, you know, and I thought there's no way I would even, you know, I just didn't think I had it in me.
Yes.
And look at me now, like 17 years on. So I would say, just go for it. Just go for it, you know.
And how long does the training take to become a police officer?
The PCDA course is 3 years. The first 17 weeks are your initial training. After that, you go for your on-the-job training. You come back to university for 1 week in the first year. In the second year, it's about 4 weeks at university. And the third year, it's 3 weeks at university. So it's like, I would say around about 80% on the job training, 20% at university. So it's a brilliant combination of mostly on the job training with a little bit of academia thrown in there.
The PCDA, I would say, just explain what the PCDA
is. Sorry, the PCDA is the Police Constable Degree Apprenticeship course. So it's a degree and it's an apprenticeship. So the amazing thing is you earn as you learn. Currently, the starting salary is £38,269. So that's a brilliant amount of money to be earning as you study and do your apprenticeship.
From the age of 18.
From the age of 18, absolutely. So you can apply from the age of about 17 and a half, but you can only start when you're 18. Yeah, and you need level 3 qualifications.
So who would you say is the ideal candidate for this program?
Oh, so the ideal candidate, obviously it could be a very, very diverse pool, but good communication skills. Strong sense of responsibility and a strong desire to help others. I think colleagues were saying about having empathy, being courageous.
If you have that inner feeling of wanting to protect someone and you want to make a difference in someone's life, then that would be the program for you to do. I think when I first joined, I was worried thinking, how am I going to have time to get this degree alongside working a full-time job? And I have to say, like, the support that you get from the Met Police is amazing. You get so much time and support to do it, because obviously they want you to do your best. And I would say that's been a real good positive thing with that degree.
So how did you manage your time? I
So
mean,
when you're at university, obviously, for example, say it's a 3-week stint that you have, you'll have time within that to be able to do your, say, coursework or your essays that are due. And then on top of that, you get protected learning time, which is time paid by the Met to have off for you to be able to do your dissertations or your essays, your presentations. And you do get a lot of time and support given to you, so you can obviously accomplish those things.
Absolutely, and we've got sergeants on campus at university as well who will help you through the first 17 weeks with lots of things like role plays to get you through. You get all the training that you need. So when you go out there, I think your first 17 weeks as well, obviously you're learning the basics of how to become a police officer. You get obviously a lot of knowledge from that. When you put it into practice is when you start to learn like your muscle memories of things, and you want to just get out there. You're like an eager puppy wanting to get out and explore. You're like, let me do it.
And that's what I was going to add, you know. People tend to ask, oh, but I don't have a policing background. You don't need to have a policing background. You can only get that through our university program or through the non-university program. Whatever you need to learn about policing, you will be taught. You know.
And even when you come out of your university program, you'll learn from your colleagues.
Yeah.
You learn from your experiences that you go to. The job is continuously learning,
Yeah.
whether or not you've been in it for 2 years or 20 years.
Yeah.
You are always learning.
Definitely. Oh, and the fitness test as well, the little
Yeah.
bleep test that they have to do as
Oh,
well.
what,
That's
like-
an annual test to check
Like
your
what
fitness.
we had at school?
Like what you had at
Yeah.
school, absolutely. Yeah. So
Nothing to stress about.
nothing to stress about. Absolutely not.
5.4.
5.4,
and it's
perfectly
about
achievable.
3 minutes and 35 seconds of running.
Absolutely. And then just to say as well, if you want to join, for example, the territorial support group, you need a little bit higher, maybe 6.4.
Yeah, I've done level 2 training, and it's 6.4.
6.4, and then I think firearms, maybe
Goes
going
up
up to
more.
9.4, something like that. So
what's 9.4 and 6.4?
So it's level 9.4, which means it's the beep test. Obviously, it gets quicker and quicker each time you go.
So you have to
right,
go-
so it's
you have to
that
stay
level.
running
Yeah.
for longer and longer and longer.
Okay.
So when it's 4.3, it's a light jog, isn't
Yeah.
it? And then the higher you go, is the quicker it is.
Right, and
But
so
nothing to stress about.
Nothing to stress. Just
Absolutely.
make sure you've got the fitness
Yeah.
to be able
Yeah.
to do some running. So I know that. I mean, both of you have been saying that no day is like the other. You have such different experiences that you have to kind of deal with, work with. But as a PCDA apprentice, what would a typical day kind of look like, especially considering?
I think when you're at university, you switch off from the being on the beat police officer because you're learning academically. So they'll go through, each time you go back to university, it will be like a different subject that you'll learn. So that might be communication skills, it might be different theories of why some people might act a certain way, and that 3 weeks or 1 week that you're back at university, you're just learning that, and then at the end you'll have an essay or something where you put into practice your learning, or role plays.
Yeah.
We do a lot of role plays where you'll go through maybe certain legislation that you've learned, but they are really supportive and really helpful, and you're never alone when you're there. There's always extra support given to
and
you.
the assignments are work related, aren't they? So
Yeah.
it might be a briefing, or it might be it's all something that's connected with your job.
Like in your first 17 weeks, I remember learning about how to interview a victim or a suspect, and then we did actual fake mock-ups of doing that. So you'll plan what you think your interview is going to be like and how you would do it, and then you'll actually go into a fake interview room and actually put that into practice, which is it's really helpful.
Absolutely, and we've got things like crime scene rooms as well, so students can go in and look at mock
See the
crime
gore.
scene
Yeah.
rooms. Yes.
So I guess for all of you, what would be your advice for someone who was looking to become a PCDA apprentice?
Do it.
Do it. Just do
No
it.
hesitation, just
No
go for it.
hesitation.
You get in a free. Yeah, go ahead.
Go on.
Yeah,
Go
I would
for it.
say if you don't think you can do it, you can do it. Because I joined thinking I'm not academic at all, I won't be able to do it, but I have gone through every goalpost and been able to smash it, and I feel like you get a real sense of achievement afterwards if you just push yourself.
Yeah. Same thing?
Yeah, just don't. You
Just
know
do it.
what? Just don't think about it. Just do it. You know, it's rewarding. You're getting a free degree at the end of it as well,
Earning
which
money,
while earning really good salary.
Yeah.
And as I said, the career prospect, the different roles you're able to go into, the fact that you're able to go up the ranks. You know, not many other jobs are out
No.
there.
No,
like
that's very
that.
true.
There's no other. I can't. Well, there obviously will be, but I
Yeah.
can't think of another organisation which would give you a degree and pay you at the same time.
Yeah, and
And
it's a
our
very
pension.
well-paid apprenticeship
Yeah.
compared to us. I think the average is about 19,000. I think. Don't quote me, but I think so. Ours is 38,000. Yeah, so it is. Yeah,
And you get free travel.
And yes,
yes,
Yeah.
you were saying this.
The
Free
best
travel.
part.
From day one of your
From
journey.
day
from
one,
day
yeah.
one,
Wow.
absolutely.
So
Free Oyster cards. You can use TFL to get to and from university, to and from your workplace. It's real helpful.
Yeah,
And with it, by the time you're in your third year, what's the salary? It goes up to.
It goes
40.
up,
I'm on
Yeah.
41, I believe
Yeah,
it
it
is.
goes up
Again,
to
don't
about
quote me, but I
40.
think it's roughly, it goes up. I think for your first 8 years.
7
Yeah.
years.
7 years.
7
years.
seven.
It goes up to 56,000.
Yeah,
Something.
right. And it's always
and
being
then,
reviewed.
if you go up the ranks, exactly, it's always being reviewed.
Definitely.
well, on that note, I think That's all the time we have. But thank you so much for joining me. It's
Thank
been
you.
a pleasure.
Thank
I've really enjoyed hearing about your experiences. And
Thanks for the chicken and
oh,
stuff.
pleasure. I mean, you guys are going to have
We'll
to
have
take
more.
some home with
Don't
you.
you worry.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. For you guys watching, if you look at the description below, there are some links for you to find out some more about how to become an apprentice with the Metropolitan Police. So thank you very much.
If you are interested in a career with the Met Police, head on over to the Not Going to Uni website to explore all of their opportunities. Now, have you ever considered a career in horse racing? Well, recently we visited the guys at the British Horse Racing Authority to learn all about the opportunities they have available to people beyond just actually racing the horses. Take a look.
Hello and welcome to Race to Your Career, the podcast series brought to you by the British Horse Racing Authority's Careers and Racing team. My name's Noor and I'll be your host as we dive into the world of horse racing.
What would you say is the most enjoyable aspect of being part of the youth collaboration group?
It's a Roomba lawnmower.
He's actually been nicknamed Fred.
Weather can be such a challenge.
Hello, little buddy.
You can check out all the opportunities available on offer at the Not Going to Uni website. But well, that just about does it for this evening. If you are late to the party, don't worry, you can watch this very live stream. It's available to you at any time. And if we have piqued your interest and you are wanting to find out more, do head on over to the Not Going to Uni website. But do remember there are countless of opportunities available to you, but tonight we have covered what is available with apprenticeships. Thank you very much and good night.